Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video, we will discuss about integers modulo n. Okay, let's go to the slide. And what is the meaning of integers modulo n? We have this definition first, 23.1. That's the definition of congruence modulo n. And when we have three integers here, a, b, and n, we say that a congruent to b mod n if n divides a minus b. What is the meaning of n divides a minus b? So we can find k in z such that we can write a minus b as k times n. Okay, this one should be clear. And we read a congruent b mod n as here. And this defines a relation on z. Why? Because we have two things here, correct? So I have a comma b, in this relation. So I use this relation. And moreover, we have this theorem that says the congruence modulo n is an equivalence relation on z. Why? We check one by one. First is the reflexive. Why? Because we have a minus a, right? For every integer a, of course, we have that's equal to 0. Then, of course, this one is n times 0. So I have a congruent to a. And the second one, the symmetric. So I have if a minus b equal to n times k, then I have what? b minus a is equal to minus k times n. And if my k is an integer, then minus k is also integer. What's the meaning of this? When I have a related to b, a congruent to b mod n, then I also have b congruent to a mod n. Okay, and the last one is I have the third one, transitivity. If I have a minus b is equal to n times k1, so that means a congruent to b mod n. And then I also have b minus c equal to n times k2. That means b congruent to c mod n. Then what I have, a minus c is a minus b plus b minus c. Correct? So that means I have n times k1 plus n times k2. Is that okay? Yeah, should be fine, right? So I have this one is n times k1 plus k2. When I have k1 is in z, then k2 also is in z. Then I have k1 plus k2 in z. That means a minus b is divisible by n. That means I have a congruent to c mod n. That gives me an equivalence relation. Then I also have another definition, 23.3. An equivalence class in Z under relation congruence mod n is called a congruence class mod n. And usually if we have an integer here, and we denote with the overline a or bar a. Okay, we have this theorem. If we have a natural number n, then there are n congruence classes mod n. Then we have 0 bar and 1 bar, 2 bar, up to n minus 1 bar. And for any a in Z, we have a is inside here. So how to see this? We use the division algorithm. And the thing is, when I have maybe for example, whatever I have maybe x in Z, right? I want to see, x belong to which one? If I divide x with n, so I will have the n times something, right? Plus remainder, okay? And then I will say x minus r is divisible by n. What's the meaning? I have x is belong to the congruence class of R. Okay, that means whenever we have an integer, then I can find a representative here, such that the representative is here. So the value is here. So 0, 1, 2, up to n minus 1. So that based on the division algorithm. And the next definition is definition 23.5. So if we define Zn to be the set here, so 0 bar, 1 bar, up to n minus 1 bar, I have, yeah, this one is the collection of every classes when I define this relation congruent to mod n, yeah. And there are some facts about Zn. The first thing is I have the cardinality of Zn is n. Where does it come from? It comes from this one. So yeah, it's only consists of n classes. That's why I have this one. The cardinality of Zn is n. Should be very clear. And the next one is every element of Z is a member of exactly one element of Zn. Why? Because remember again, when you have an equivalence relation, then you will get a partition. That's why every integer will belong to, yeah, one partition. That's why it's a member of exactly one. Okay, because of, yeah, that's the reason. And every element of Zn is an infinite subset of Z. Why? Because, for example, if we have A bar is, yeah, I have A here, okay, then I also have A plus n, thus will be inside A bar, and A plus 2n, thus also inside A bar, and so on. I also have A minus n, okay, and so on. Okay, then yeah, this one, of course, the cardinality of A bar is infinite. Okay, and next, for the example 23.6, the set Z4 has 4 elements, and we can write them as this. And actually, it's not only like this lah. Sometimes in certain condition, we also write something like this. So we write 0, 1, and then minus 1 and 2. Sometimes we also write like this, but usually we write like this. So when we have Zn, we usually write 0, 1, and so on up to n minus 1 bar. Okay, and it's clear when we see every element of Z4, it looks like only one number, but actually it is a set. Remember, if we have an equivalence class, then we will have a partition, right? And in this partition, for example, 1 bar here, 1 bar, so is this set. So please remember, 5 and 1 in modulo 4, 5 minus 1 is 4 times 1, right? And then also 9 minus 1 is 4 times 2, and so on. So we have 5, 9, minus 3, minus 2 are belong to 1 bar. And it's clear that 1 bar is an infinite set. And please remember, we have said that the elements are only the elements, so 0 up to n minus 1 in Zn. But there are many other integers. For example, if we check in Z6 maybe, so Z6, yeah, we also have minus 1, minus 11 bar, but remember again, we can represent it as 1 bar. So even though we have so many elements there, but usually we only pick one as the representative, and usually the representative is the value is here. So 0, 1, 2, up to n minus 1. Usually that we use. And how about the operation on Zn? We have this theorem. And if we have 4 integers here, where A congruent to B mod n and C congruent to B D mod n. What's the meaning of this? I can find K1 and K2 that exist in Z such that what? A minus B is K1 times n, and then I also have C minus D is K1 times n, K2. So how to prove the first one, A plus C congruent to B plus D mod n? Yeah, just do it lah, just calculate. So I have A plus C minus B plus D. What is it? I have A minus B plus C minus D. So be clear, and A minus B is K1n, and this one is K2n. That gives me K1 times K1 plus K2 times n. That means, yeah, A plus C congruent to B plus D mod n. And how about this one? I have AC minus BD. Okay, so we can try again. This one is not difficult, so we can use this idea. Then we try to represent it as something times n. That's the idea of how to prove this one. Should be easy because you only use some properties of integers. And we continue to the next example. We have the 28 congruent to 2 mod 26. So be clear, because 28 minus 2 is 1 times 26. Okay, so we have this congruence. And 29 is congruent to 3 mod 26. Why? 29 minus 3. And if we want to calculate, for example, 28 times 29 mod 26, that will be, yeah, very big. But we can make it easier. How? Yeah, we try to simplify it first. For example, like this, 28 times 29. So 28 is congruent to 2, and then 29 is congruent to 3 mod 26. Then we just multiply this. 2 times 3 is 6 mod 26. This one is much easier compared to if you have to multiply 28 and 29. So that's the trick. And usually, yeah, when we deal with Cn, then we try to simplify it first, then yeah, we calculate. Okay. And next is this definition 23.10. So we make some operations on Cn. What are the operations? We have plus and times here. So if we have two elements in Cn, then x is equal to a bar and then y is equal to b bar. Then what is x plus y? We define x plus y as a plus b bar. So the class which contain a plus b. And how about x times y? We define it as a times b bar. What is this? Yeah, the class which contain a times b. So this one should be clear. For example, like this, if I have 3 bar times 2 bar, so we define it as 3 times 2 bar. So this one becomes 6 bar. Okay. For example, this one, not 26. Okay. So be clear, and please remember, yeah, it is important to notice that on the left hand side of the equations, we use plus and minus, but this plus and minus are different with the usual addition and multiplication. So please remember that. And we only say that we have the how to add and multiply elements of Cn. So this one looks like a number, but actually again we have a class here. So this one is a class. So this one is a set. This one also a class. Not really the number. Okay. For example, if we have something like this, if I have n is equal to 7, we try to make the addition and multiplication modulo 7. So I have 5 plus 6. So 5 plus 6 bar. Okay. Is equal to 5 plus 6 is 11. Then I take mod 7. Then Why I have 4? Because yeah, if I have 11, is 1 times 7 plus 4, right? So yeah, it will be equal to 4 bar. And I have 1 bar plus 6 bar. 1 plus 6, 7. 7 is 0. Why? Because I have 7 is 1 times 7 plus 0. So I have this 0. How about 5 times 6? Again, the same thing. 30. 30 is 4 times 7, 28 plus 2. So I have this 2. Another thing, 3 times 5 is 15. 15 is 2 times 7 plus 1. So I have this one. Okay. So if we want to add two equivalence classes, we choose the representatives. And yeah, just add, then simplify lah. So in this case, we use modulo 7. The next example is example 23.16. When we have a natural number here, we can prove that for each x in Zn, then we have x plus 0 is equal to xy. Because it should be clear, then that we have if x is equal to a bar like this, then a bar plus 0 is a plus 0 bar. Then yeah, a is an integer, right? Integer plus 0 become itself. So I have a bar, then that is x itself. And that's all for this topic. So hopefully it is clear enough about integer modulo n and why we need to learn about this. So please check your book, and it has ISBN number. Okay, the ISBN number is not, yeah, it's not only a random number lah. There are some rules to write it. For example, like now you have certain digits, then the last one is the check digits. And we can use this one, integer modulo n, to create the check digits. And when you type it wrongly, maybe 1 or 2 number, you type it wrongly, then you will know that it is wrong. Okay, so that's the very simple applications of integer modulo n. And maybe the advanced one is now, yeah, a lot of people try to do the lattice cryptography. Then they use and through truncated polynomial, and yeah, the idea is almost the same lah. You have some classes from some relations there, but this one is of course much more complicated. And now when you have a credit card, usually they are secured by RSA crypto system, but maybe in the future it's not safe anymore. So this one will be maybe a better way lah to secure your information inside your whatever you have, for example like credit card or bank account or whatever like that. Okay, maybe that's all for this video. Thank you for listening, and hopefully you can understand it well, and see you in the next video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.